coverage presents Speed World. Well, the surroundings are familiar indeed. This is Indianapolis Raceway Park, the summertime home of Saturday Night Thunder. And look how the fans have flocked in here this evening. After 12 inches of rain during the month of July, we asked the weatherman to please cooperate tonight, and he has come up with a picture-perfect night for stock car racing. That's right, I said stock car racing. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. Welcome to IRP. A couple of things are different from our normal Saturday Night Thunder activities here. First of all, look out your window and you'll realize that you're seeing this race on Sunday afternoon. It is, in fact, happening on Saturday night. The other thing that's different, no open wheels here, stock car racing. The Busch Grand National Series, and the hottest man in stock car racing right now is the guy I want to talk to you right off the bat. Ernie Irvan has won 3 of his last 6 Winston Cup starts, his last 2 Busch Grand National races, and last night's pit crew competition. You're becoming invincible. Do you feel confident tonight?
Well, the car's running good. You know, whether we can pull this 200-lapper away with all these good Busch Grand National guys, it's going to be awful tough, but we're going to see what we can do.
This is going to be a tough race tonight, and it's going to be, I gather, particularly tough on tires. Tell me a little about strategy.
Well, the problem is it's wearing the outer edge of the tire away. So we can go the whole race on tires, but the outer edge won't make it. So the strategy is to try to pit sometime that you know you're going to make it to the end, and I don't think it's going to be a matter of who can go the fastest, but who has the best strategy.
He's been going the fastest of late. That is Ernie Irvan, and he'll start 8th here this evening. I said 2 things were different. Actually, 3 things are different here this evening. It's not you-know-who topside to call the action. No, indeed. It's the Bob and Benny Show. Let's go topside to ESPN stock car anchor Bob Jenkins and our analyst Benny Parsons.
And, Dave, just to reinforce that, I am not Gary, I am Bob.
And I am not Larry. I'm Benny.
We got that right, didn't we?
Yeah, we got that right.
A lot of different things going on here tonight than what you normally see at this racetrack. No open wheel cars.
Full-bodied stock cars. They got fenders. And 3,200 pounds versus what's a midget weight?
Around 800, so a lot different there, too.
And about 500 horsepower versus what's a midget have? 800? No.
About that. Well,
the sprint car has about 800.
Yeah. Who cares?
Who cares?
We're ready for racing. And one guy, however, that could be a common thread through this thing is Jeff Gordon. Now, he got his start in racing here at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the sprints and midgets, but now is running in the Busch Grand National Division.
And doing a great job. Has won a couple of times this year, but tonight, this is home racetrack, but I think he's going to have some trouble because the front row is tough. Robert Presley, the toughest guy in Busch Grand National this year, won 3 times. Morgan Shepherd on the outside, he has won this race twice. 3 times, almost won it a couple other times. So Jeff Gordon might get another lesson tonight.
But there's another guy that you got to throw into the mix here, and that is Joe Nemechek. He is the leader in the Busch Grand National points going into this race. He is looking for his first victory this season. In fact, he is looking for his first victory ever in Busch Grand National competition. Consistency has put him at the top of the point standings. For more on that, let's go back down to Dave.
Consistency is great. Winning races is what everybody wants. Joe Nemechek, you're ready to get that first one under your belt, aren't you?
Yes, we are, Dave. The Texas Pete Chevrolet has been running so good lately. We've been so consistent. And if we can keep being consistent, we're going to win a race.
If you win the championship, that's a ticket to the big leagues. But how much does it eat at you that you haven't got that first victory under your belt yet?
Well, it's tough. You know, we go to each race to win that race. And we're here at Indy to win a race. And if we can win the championship without a race, it's going to be kind of tough. But I feel very confident we're going to win a race before the year's over.
Keep in mind that the different guy wins these races every week. It's been a terrifically competitive season in Busch Grand National competition. We expect that competition to translate very nicely to Indianapolis Raceway Park this evening. And Joe Nemechek will be starting right up toward the head of the pack in 3rd starting spot. Hey, the crowds have jammed in for this one tonight. I guarantee it's going to be a spectacular 200 laps of action. Stick around. This Speed World Special Edition, ESPN's exclusive coverage of the Kroger 200, is brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go. We'll be back with 200 laps of wild action at Indianapolis Raceway Park right after this. Well, let's make it official. It is the largest crowd ever to jam into Indianapolis Raceway Park. They're here for the Kroger 200 stock car race. It is also a special night tonight for a good friend of ours. He began his driving career in a taxi cab in the streets of Detroit, those many years ago. And tonight, looky here, he drove the yellow cab pace car for the yellow cab 25 qualifying race. He's tonight's Grand Marshal, our Benny Parsons, and he's standing by with the speech we're all waiting to hear. Benny?
Shauna and gentlemen, start your engines.
And with those words, 28 cars fire to life as we get set to go racing for 200 laps around this 5/8 mile oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Here is the diehard starting grid. The pole sitter is Robert Presley in car number 59. He qualified at 109.25, not a record. Outside will be three-time winner of this event, Morgan Shepherd from Conover, North Carolina, in the number 21 Citgo Ford. Starting in third position is Joe Nemechek, the points leader. Outside will be Kenny Wallace from St. Louis in car number 36. Starting in fifth position, it's hometown favorite Jeff Gordon from nearby Pittsburgh, driving the number 1 Baby Ruth Ford. Outside of him is Jimmy Spencer, the veteran in the number 20 Daly's First Aid Oldsmobile. He's from Berwick, Pennsylvania. Starting in the fourth row is Michael Waltrip in car number 30, the Pennzoil Pontiac. Ernie Urban goes beside him. He's from Modesto, California, driving the number 4 Kodak Film Oldsmobile. The ninth starting spot goes to Ricky Craven, one of the rookie candidates in car number 99, the DuPont Chevrolet, and then Bobby Labonte, the defending champion from Corpus Christi, Texas, number 44, the Slim Jim Chevrolet. In 11th position is Bobby Hamilton from Nashville, Tennessee, in the Country Time Olds, car number 48, and then Chuck Bound, Portland, Oregon, number 63, the Nescafe Pontiac. And he, of course, is the gentleman that had trouble in the late going here last year. The rest of the starting lineup, the seventh row has Jeff Burton and Steve Grissom, row number 8, Red Farmer and Bobby Donner. Row number 9, Tommy Houston and Todd Bodine. The 10th row has Jeff Green and Hud Strickland in number 7. In the 11th row, it's Ward Burton and Richard Lassiter. Butch Miller and Tom Peck go from row number 12. The 13th row consists of Tracy Leslie and Ed Faree, and Shauna Robinson and Troy Beebe begin from row number 14. Those are the 28 starters in tonight's race.
And the Red Farmer that you saw is replacing Davey Allison. He's taking a weekend off. Remember that terrible crash he had at Pocono, Pennsylvania just a couple of weeks ago? He's still not back 100%, but get in there.
Well, we have a couple of in-car cameras tonight. One of them will be riding on the side of Jeff Gordon's car, the CarQuest Cage Cam, doing duty here tonight. That should give you some great shots and give you an indication of just how they run this track. They'll come awfully close to that wall coming down the straightaway, and again in the middle of the corner. Jeff Gordon driving the number 1 Baby Ruth Ford.
I see they have enough sense to put the camera up above the wall. Otherwise, Gordon would probably smack the wall with it.
He probably knock it off a couple of times. Pace car has turned off its light now, and we should be ready to go racing in just a moment. There's the 3-time winner of this event on the outside of row number 1. That is Morgan Shepherd, and he certainly has to be ranked as a top favorite for tonight also.
You're right, Bob, and that's his car. That's not the Wood Brothers car, but that's Morgan's Busch car that he maintains himself.
Winner in 1982, in 84, and again in 1988. As far as this year is concerned, we've had 19 Busch Grand National races and 14 different winners. This is race number 20. There's Robert Presley, car number 59, the points leader, Joe Nemechek, in number 87. The rest of the field coming down the backstretch, closing it up now, getting set for the green flag and the start of our race here tonight. The pace car out front has its light off. It will be headed for pit road in just a moment. We're glad you could join us on this Saturday night, although the broadcast is on Sunday afternoon. We're getting set for Busch Grand National Racing. The flagman is Carl Simmons. He looks them over, gets set to wave the green bunting, still waiting, and now here it comes, and we're underway at IRP. Well, the tread cam working well down there in turn number 1 as several cars pass right over it, and the field makes its way out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Those running out front are already in the 3rd and 4th turns, and the leader is Robert Presley as they come down for the first lap. Presley runs first, then it's Morgan Shepherd, Nemechek, Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, and then Jeff Gordon, with whom we're riding right now.
Jimmy Spencer got a great start in the first 8 car right in front of Jeff Gordon. And there's a tough guy, Ernie Irvin, right behind Jeff.
He is hot. They're the first 3 as Presley continues to lead Morgan Shepherd and Joe Nemechek. Lap number 2 is complete. Field still running fine, getting strung out in single file formation now.
The 28 car has a problem. He missed badly as he went by just a moment ago. That's Red Farmer in the Howland Ford.
About a 5-car length separation between Presley, the leader, and Morgan Shepherd in second spot.
Hard to imagine a racetrack like this with no more banking than it has in the groove right at the top of the racetrack.
First few laps will be spent sort of feeling things out and getting the car set in. A long race, 200 laps. It has been run without a caution, and it only took about an hour and 24 minutes to do that. Once again, riding alongside Jeff Gordon.
Let's see how close at Gordon. We're looking out the rear window now at Ernie Irvin's car at the Kodak Film Chevrolet.
Jeff Gordon runs in 6th, and Ernie Irvin is in 7th position. Just ahead of Jeff is Jimmy Spencer in that first aid machine.
There's a tread cam once again.
Most of the time they're going to stay above that tread cam, Benny, and that just shows the difference in lines that these guys take compared to the open wheel guys. It's a much higher line that the Busch Grand National cars run through the corners, and there is Red Farmer in the car you normally associate with Davey Allison. Red is having major problems with that car. He's dropped back. We've heard it popping and cracking as it came down the straightaway last time, and it looks like Red is headed for pit road.
Sure does. Well, no, he's went on by the pits that time, but he's well off the pace. Meanwhile, there's Robert Presley, the leader, the black car in front, Morgan Shepherd in the middle, Joe Nemechek, and Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Gordon.
Then comes Ernie Irvin, Michael Waltrip running behind him. And then Bobby Labonte, the defending champion of this race. Presley beginning to stretch it out just a little bit now on Morgan Shepherd and the others. Dave has a report on this 28 car as finally Red does bring it in for pit stop. Dave?
Red Farmer comes on pit road. Can't talk to the crew chief down here. The crew chief is in the car. Red, of course, is the crew chief for Davey Allison. Davey is injured, and so Red says, hey, I can drive that thing, even though he's never driven a Busch Grand National race. The engine has been shutting off going down the straightaway, and they brought him in to see if they could fix it. Wayne Hill, what did you do, and what did you find out?
Well, we don't know right now. We can change the ignition box in the coil. We can try that.
So they've changed the ignition to the backup and sent Red back out, hoping that'll solve the problem.
He did lose a lap, however, and now a great battle for second position as Nemechek goes to the inside and takes second away from Morgan Shepherd. And here comes Kenny Wallace to take third. Morgan Shepherd is up on the high side and losing positions right and left. Something wrong with him, Ben?
I don't know. Look at that. They're all going by him. It's like Talladega getting out of the drought. And Morgan is still losing position. There goes Labonte by.
Boy, Morgan Shepherd just suddenly drops from second. It's like he has an anchor tied to the back of that car. As now Chuck Bound at number 63 approaches. This time, Morgan will go to the low side of the racetrack. However, he did not let Bound by, but obvious trouble with that 21 car.
It looks almost like he has a flat tire, but...
Well, he is one of 5 drivers that are running Hoosier tires here tonight. Everybody else is on the Goodyears, and we might mention that they're using radials here at Indianapolis Raceway Park for the first time.
Jimmy Spencer just got by Kenny Wallace, also Jeff Gordon by him, and Ernie Irvin. As we watch Morgan still having problems there, we see Ernie and Kenny Wallace, now Bobby Labonte by him.
He too, Kenny Wallace is having problems. He got up into third spot, and then he goes and loses about 4 positions. So it's still Presley leading. In second position now is Nemechek. Third is Spencer. Fourth is Gordon. Ernie Irvin fifth. Michael Waltrip there in car number 30 is sixth, and then Labonte seventh.
Just see how close they're going to the wall. Now, Ernie Irvin runs a little different line off 4. He comes down lower than most of these cars.
14 laps have been completed here out of 200 in this Busch Grand National race at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The leader at the moment is Robert Presley, followed by Nemechek, Spencer, Gordon, and Irvin. At Indianapolis Raceway Park, where the Kroger 200 is underway. You're looking at Bobby Hamilton in car number 48. He's moving up from the starting position that he had for this event, now closing in on Morgan Shepherd in car number 21.
Chuck Bound got by Morgan just about a lap ago. Now Bobby Hamilton trying to do the same thing. Tries to go on the outside of Morgan. That didn't work.
They hit for the outside again as they go into turns 1 and 2. Notice how the groove for these cars carries them to the outside of the wall, right in the middle of the turn, and then they kind of diamond off. And there is Hamilton as he goes to the inside of Morgan Shepherd and picks up 12th position.
And here comes Todd Bodine, the Hungry Jack car, right behind Morgan Shepherd. So another guy trying to get by. Morgan has big-time problems on that car.
Shepherd started in second position, however, has dropped back here in the early going. Todd Bodine, number 34, looks to the outside of Morgan. Can't make the pass there. He'll try the inside line coming off turn number 4 and down the main straightaway, and he will pass Morgan Shepherd going into turn 1.
Morgan just trying to ride it out, Bob, trying to get to a caution flag so he can go in and get an adjustment.
Bobby Hamilton, one of the Winston Cup drivers, competing here tonight. Are you here more to please your sponsor, or are you here because you want to win, Bobby?
We're here to do something for country time, but Bobby Hamilton needs to run a race regardless. So we're running good enough where I think we can. And, you know, Benny, this is just like back home racing. It's like, you know, the lights are out. It's Saturday night. This makes a real close racing. You run right up against the wall here. It's real hard to pass here, and usually people make passes that shouldn't be made, and you know what happens after that, but it just makes for a real exciting racing.
Bobby Hamilton driving the country time car number 48, currently in 12th position. And Morgan Shepherd continues to have problems here as he's lost a couple of more spots. There he is in the Citgo Ford, and Dave Despain has a report on what might be wrong with this machine.
Well, the only man to win this race more than once, Morgan Shepherd, a 3-time winner. They say the car is just terrible tight. And now it's the crew chief's dilemma. Do you bring him in and try to fix it, go a lap down, or do you hope for a yellow? And Benny, you called it. Right now they're just riding it out and hoping for yellow.
There you see, he's trying his best to just keep going as best he can until he can get the caution flag to go in and adjust the car. And you wonder, will some of these guys fit? Believe me, if the caution comes out, that car will go in the pits.
As quickly as possible, running behind Morgan Shepherd now is Steve Grissom, another former winner. Here is Robert Presley, who is the leader of this event, and he's about to start lapping some of the slower cars. It is still Nemechek running second, then Spencer Gordon and Bobby Labonte.
That's the Alliance Truck Training Centers. There's a race for 4th and 5th. Jeff Gordon, 4th. Bobby Labonte, 5th. There's a 3rd-place car, Jimmy Spencer.
Jeff Gordon has won 7 pole positions this year in Grand National competition. Thought he had a shot at the pole here last night when they qualified, but didn't quite get the job done. Started this race in 5th position and has moved up to 4th now.
And he is really running fast, going through the middle of the corner so well. Outrunning Spencer, but I don't know if he can get by.
Jeff is looking for 3rd position. Jimmy Spencer lets the car drift up a little high there in the 3rd and 4th turns as Jeff takes a look to the inside, but nope. Boy, he and Labonte are all running real tight there in that 3-car group.
Labonte, they're trying to make it 3 abreast as they come off the 2nd corner.
Gordon has won twice this year in Grand National competition at Atlanta and at Charlotte. And of course, next year is looking very much forward to a Winston Cup ride with the Rick Hendrick team.
Look how much he closes up on Spencer right in the middle of the corner. And now Spencer has moved his groove down, trying to defend his position. The 20 car, Jimmy Spencer. The white one is Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte in the red and, what is it, orange?
Oh, 44. Yeah. It's pretty bright orange.
Watch as he closes up. Now we're looking out of the back window of Jeff Gordon's car. Get well, Ray J. Must be a...
And we have a crash up in turn number 3. A couple of cars involved. Shauna Robinson and Michael Waltrip comes through and hits Richard Lassiter very hard from behind.
Wow.
Lassiter's car was stopped at the bottom of the racetrack, and Michael Waltrip had no place to go and hit Richard very, very hard. But Richard is getting the car going again, obviously not injured. It is, however, our first caution flag of the evening after 30 laps of racing. There's Shauna Robinson, who is also involved in the number 25 car.
Well, she's got some heavy damage to the left front, and look at the damage to Michael's car.
Speaking of heavy damage.
Wow.
Whew. The front end of that car is history. Lassiter, meanwhile, comes in right behind Michael Waltrip, also with some major damage to the rear of his car.
Thank God for fuel for rubber gas tanks. You see all those sparks back there, and yet no, the car had not lost any fuel.
Well, it happened out in turn number 3, and here we have it. That's Lassiter. Up on top of the track is Robinson.
They look like they got together. There goes Nemechek right through the middle of them. And Shauna Robinson backs the car in the wall. We can see the tire mark would hit the wall, so there's some heavy damage there. Now watch Gordon and Jimmy Spencer split the 5 car, and Gordon gets the position. And then the car sits there, and along comes Michael Waltrip and plows in the back of Lassiter.
Everybody appears to be okay, but there's a lot of bent sheet metal on Indianapolis Raceway Park because of an accident out in turn number 3. We'll be back with more coverage of the Kroger 200 right after this. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and this is the perspective of Jeff Gordon in this accident that occurred up in turn number 3.
And he sees nothing but smoke, and there all of a sudden is a car. And how Gordon and Spencer got by him is amazing.
All the action was behind Jeff and Jimmy as they split the difference. 2 other cars do also, Labonte and Irvin, but watch.
Michael Waltrip. Bam! That is a heavy, heavy hit.
It is a bad hit, but fortunately, Michael Waltrip is okay. As a matter of fact, he's with Dave Despain.
We're going to get a quick word from Dad first, because I want to know from a father's perspective what goes through your mind, Leroy Waltrip, when you see the kid hit a ton like that.
Michael has had so much bad luck this year. It's just unbelievable, Dave. I don't know what he needs to do. Just running along, and just a victim of circumstances.
Kind of a bad turn.
Yeah, and his mother's up here also, and it's pretty hard on her because, she had the stroke here 3 years ago, and it really upsets her when this happens. But we've learned to handle it, I guess.
Well, they've got a lot of experience in this business. It has spoiled the family reunion, and we're going to try to get a word with Michael here and find out what has happened. And basically, I think you were a victim of circumstances here, weren't you? You've become awful popular all of a sudden. Tell me what happened.
I was going down the backstretch, and I saw Richard blow or Shauna, whatever happened, and I saw the wreck and was slowing down, but I couldn't see where anybody went for the smoke. As soon as the smoke clears, there sits Lassiter, I guess. And I've had plenty of time to miss him, and I went to turn, but I was in his oil. I just slid right into the back of him. Heavy front-end damage to the Pennzoil Pontiac, so I don't think we'll be returning. It's been a great trip up here in Indianapolis. The fans are wonderful. Enjoy watching you guys every Saturday night on Saturday Night Thunder. Looking forward to tonight. We had a good car. It was real competitive, and it felt like that we had a good shot at winning this race again, but not to be.
It's been a tough race to win twice. He knows that. He had a long time to think about that slide into Richard Lassiter, which has taken Michael Waltrip out of the race here this evening. Cars circulating under yellow. We'll be back to the action at Indianapolis Raceway Park right after this.
Well, here are the former winners of this Busch Grand National race here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Bobby Labonte last year, Steve Grissom before that, Michael Waltrip won in '89, Morgan Shepherd 3 times, '88, '84, and '82. Larry Pearson was the champion here in '87. Butch Miller took the checkered flag in 86. It was Jimmy Hensley's turn in 85, and Tommy Houston was the winner here at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Kroger 200 in the year before that. So we're getting set now for a restart after a wreck out in turn number 3 involving Shauna Robinson, Richard Lassiter, and Michael Waltrip.
And all 3 of those cars have retired for the evening.
As we get set for the restart, it's going to be Presley, Nemechek, and Jeff Gordon, who picked up a couple of positions because of his neat move there through that accident. So Jeff begins from 3rd position as the green flag comes out, and we go back to racing.
Now, he was faster than Spencer just a moment ago in the 20 car. Is he faster than these guys?
He closes in on Nemechek as Presley lengthens his lead a little bit. Robert Presley is 2nd in laps led in 1992. He's led in 5 races for a total of 329 coming into this event, and he's led all 38 so far tonight.
There we see Bobby Labonte on the inside of Spencer trying to take that position away. Can't make it. We found out that Ray J is racing.
Oh, Labonte is spinning. Bobby Labonte. Oh, no. Oh, and Chuck Bound becomes a victim, and other cars do also. Bobby Hamilton is involved as everybody else scrambles to try to get away from the crash, but at least 3 cars, again, heavily damaged in an incident. Bobby Hamilton, Bobby Labonte, and Chuck Bound. Labonte begins to drive away, but Chuck Bound took a hard hit as he got pinned against the wall, and then along came Bobby Hamilton.
And we see the back of Labonte's car dragging as he goes by us down the front straightaway. The whole rear end of the car is, of course, that's just a piece of plastic. That's nothing severe, but the left rear tire is blown. It's gone, as a matter of fact.
There's Bobby Hamilton. He's gotten out of his country time car and begins to walk back to the pit area, that long walk that no race driver likes to make, but Bobby Hamilton will make it here tonight, and probably Chuck Bound also, because he took a real hard shot.
That's a walk of disgust right there.
There's Chuck Bound. He remains in the car, telling everybody that he is okay, but I don't know whether he's going to be able to restart this race or not.
You're right. He does have some serious damage to that car.
Well, it all happened as Bobby Labonte tried to get a position on Jimmy Spencer.
He goes in the corner, and the back end just went away. Ernie Irvin barely gets by, but then he rolls up right in front of Chuck Bound, and nowhere for Chuck to go, nowhere for Hamilton to go, because he came down the racetrack. Meanwhile, Ricky Craven and looked like the Jeff Burton barely got by on the inside.
And unfortunately, this crash could not have happened in a worse place because it was right in front of the Country Time Suite, the tent that has been established down there for the Country Time people.
There goes Morgan. Watch these cars just go through the grass to the outside, however. We see Red Farmer going by. That did fix his car. The mist went away when he jumped in and changed the ignition box.
All right, let's go down to Dave Despain once again.
The damage to Bobby Labonte, the defending champion in this race, was almost entirely to the left rear. The car took a heck of a wallop. They changed the left rear tire and set him right back out with no other work on the car. I would expect that they might bring that car back in for a second look to further assess the damage. Here's another quick development. We'll try to follow up on the crash. Interrupted our conversation with Shauna Robinson, who says Richard Lassiter hit her on purpose and triggered that first crash. She and Lassiter got together in the opposite end of the racetrack. She thinks it was retaliation. Back topside.
All right, Dave. So a lot of activity in the pit area and a lot of activity on the racetrack. There is Bobby Labonte. That car is moving and appears to be okay, Benny. There's certainly some damage there to the left rear corner of it, but I believe he's going to be okay.
But you see how the top of that left rear is leaned in? They bent the rear housing in that car.
Not going to be as fast as it once was.
No.
Bobby Labonte, the defending champion, looks like he will not win 2 in a row here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 41 laps have been completed. It's Presley, Nemechek, Gordon, Spencer, and Irvin. We'll be right back. ESPN Speed World tonight at Clermont, Indiana, Indianapolis Raceway Park, and the Kroger NASCAR Busch Grand National 200. We're 44 laps in, under our second caution. Several cars already eliminated from competition, and several drivers are down in the pit area, and Dave Despain is with several of them.
Well, indeed, it's going to be retired drivers roundtable here for a moment. We'll start with the Shauna Robinson story. Tell me what happened on the crash prior to the one for which we're under the yellow.
Well, a few laps earlier, Richard Lasser and I, as I was passing him, I bumped him a little bit with my car pushing. Wasn't intentional, but evidently he wasn't real happy about it and had to wait up on me and, put me out of the race with the lead cars right all around us, which wasn't, it's unfortunate something like that had to happen, but he did intentionally put me into the wall.
You're saying he waited for you then? He slowed down on the track till you caught up with him, and that was what triggered all this?
Right. It was pretty obvious that he was waiting on me, and I had just went by him, and he nailed me in the back, and which sent me spinning. And, it's unfortunate to see people like Michael Waltrip and, the Polaroid Oldsmobile was starting to run real good, and we had a rough weekend here anyway, but I hate to see something like this happen as someone who doesn't use their head.
Shauna Robinson says she was a victim of an intentional hit from somebody else. Now let's talk to the guys who inadvertently got caught up in this. Chuck Bound was one of the drivers who tangled. Bound, remember last year, lost his seat belts with 10 laps to go. They came unbuckled, and as a result of that, he surrendered the victory to Bobby Labonte. Ironically, he comes back here tonight and clobbers Labonte in that big crash. And so we want to get a quick word with Chuck Bound and find out from his perspective what happened down there. Tell me the story.
Well, had a restart, and Bobby Labonte kind of got in a hurry. I think his car was running good. He jumped to the inside, trying to make a pass. They had just put some oil dry in the inside lane to clean up the oil from the previous wreck. I think he'd gotten that a little bit, plus the inside groove here is kind of a loose groove anyway, and he just lost it. It went around on him, and I couldn't cut left because he was spinning there, and I tried to get between him and the wall, but he come up the racetrack a little quicker than I was hoping he was gonna. I got pinched into the wall and, and hit by his car, and it was a short day for us. Car was running really good. Sorry for Nescafe and ST and Pontiac, but we'll be back.
Talk to me a little about the frustration that this place seems to hold for you 2 years running.
Well, in 1992, it hasn't just been Indy. It's been everywhere we've been. It's just been that kind of a season for us. We're a strong team, and we'll come back. I feel sure someday we'll do something great here at Indy.
All right, thank you very much. That is Chuck Bound, also out of the race. We'll try to catch up with Bobby Hamilton. He was here a moment ago. He has gone, I believe, to consult with his crew, and we'll try to get one final perspective on this big tangle. Hey, guys, we said it was going to be wild. I don't know if we expected this.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mentioned earlier that this race has been run without caution. Not tonight.
Not tonight. And I'm really sorry to see the Polaroid car out because Shauna Robinson, they had a tough deal this week. Vernon Cordell, better known as Fluff, died this week on Wednesday. 34 years old, died with cancer. He's been around racing ever since I've been in NASCAR, over 20 years, and from Richmond, Virginia, and I'm sure all the Winston Cup and Busch Grand National guys would want to know that Fluff passed away this week.
And our sympathies to all members of the family. Getting set to go back to green flag racing at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Kroger 200 Busch Grand National race, coming off of our second caution of the evening. Robert Presley in car number 59 will lead him down. He's led all laps so far. Joe Nemechek is right on his back bumper. Then comes Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Spencer. Pace car picks up speed and pulls off the racetrack as the field also now begins to pick up speed and heading toward that green flag, and it is out.
We see Red Farmer up on the outside. The lap cars are able to do that in Busch Grand National. They go to the outside on the restart. Ooh, someone run over our camera.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Now these guys are coming back through the oil dry that was put down from that last spin. Look at Ernie way on the bottom of the racetrack.
22 cars are in the race, and 21 of them are on the lead lap. The only lap car is Red Farmer still in competition. There is Ernie Irvin in car number 4. He's in 5th position at the moment. Ahead of him, Spencer, Gordon, Nemechek, and Presley.
You see Gordon pulls up right on the back bumper of Nemechek.
Here's our CarQuest cage cam once again. We've located it on the side of Jeff Gordon's car. Look how close they come to that wall coming off corner number 2 down the backstretch.
There we see Jimmy Spencer, first aid car. Ernie Irvin behind Spencer. And evidently, Red Farmer did something wrong on that restart because NASCAR has been black flagging it for the last couple of laps.
And he heeds the black flag and pulls into the pit area as we continue to watch the action on the racetrack.
You know, I think Jeff Gordon, there's
that 7 car. No, it isn't Harry Gant. Harry had a previous engagement and commitment, could not come here and run tonight, so he put Hut Strickland in the car. He's in number 7, and that's Tom Peck in car number 19, just ahead of him.
Peck is 11th, and Strickland is 12th.
Ed Whitaker car number 7. Here's Kenny Wallace. 3 abreast through that corner with Red Farmer on the bottom in the slow car. Wallace is in the Dirt Devil car.
They got Wallace on the inside. Now he's having trouble going down there. Meanwhile, Tracy Leslie trying to get on the inside of the 7 car.
That 24 car is driven by Troy Beebe, and the 27 is Ward Burton. And there's our old buddy Morgan Shepherd again.
Morgan went in the pits and made some adjustments on that car, so we'll see if they're able to fix it. There goes Ward by. He gets by Beebe. Now Kenny Wallace trying to go, but having a tough time down there.
That's not the fastest group here for these cars.
No, it sure isn't. Never see Morgan going by. Also Butch Miller.
Miller in 75 was the winner of the Yellow Cab qualifier, the 25-lap event that determined the last 6 starting positions. He led all the way in that 25-lapper, allowing him to start 23rd on the field.
I drove the pace car in that 25-lap Yellow Cab.
Yeah, how was it?
I tell you what, that's a weird feeling to look in the mirror and see those race cars right behind you. It is.
It was kind of familiar territory, though. Dave mentioned a little while ago that you used to do that in Detroit, didn't you?
Yeah, and I'll let you know it costs $4.55 to pace those 2 laps.
Wonder who's paying that bill.
Don't know. Morgan trying to get by the banana boat car.
There he did. Passing Troy Beebe, car number 24. About 8 cars running together here. There's Beebe from Modesto, California. Behind him is Butch Miller, who won this race in 1986.
Butch gets almost gets alongside of him, just can't get that bite off the corner that you need. There he's got the bite, and he's going to go, well, is he?
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
And so is Kenny Wallace, or at least Wallace is going to try. He pulls alongside of Beebe and also makes the pass. So Kenny Wallace picks up a position.
And that's Bobby Donner, the 08, the yellow car, right behind Beebe.
Well, you got to know that Kenny Wallace is a very happy man. He's thinking about his Winston Cup ride for next year. You excited about that, Kenny?
Well, I am. You know, I couldn't ask for a better situation. You know, Felix Tabatis is the car owner. I'm sure everybody's heard a lot about him. He owns Kyle Petty's race car, and you know, he told me he'll take care of the business. All I do is concentrate on the race car, and that's going to be new for me, you know, because I'm used to being a hands-on type person. And but I can handle it. You know, we acquired Jeff Hammond, you know, the crew chief, you know, for Darrell Waltrip for about the last 11 years, and Steve Bird, who I've been working with for about the last 2-3 years, you know, still be doing the chassis. So hopefully we'll put together chemistry that, you know, at least make my rookie season pretty nice.
Kenny Wallace certainly successful in this division of racing, so looking forward to moving to Winston Cup. Earlier this year, he won the Busch Grand National race in Martinsville. The leader continues to be Robert Presley. He has things pretty well in hand at this point, leading Joe Nemechek by about 10-12 car lengths.
I tell you what, Presley is hooked. He told me last night he could do this. He was hoping he could do this. Just lead all the way, but he's going to have to make a pit stop. And that's when it becomes awfully important.
Presley has won 3 times this year in this division at Darlington, and then he won 2 in a row at Darlington and at Orange County. He's leading here tonight and we have completed 63 of the 200 laps at Indianapolis Raceway Park. We'll be right back after this. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, and Dave Despain back at Indianapolis Raceway Park for the Kroger 200 Busch Grand National Race, which is being led by car number 59, driven by Robert Presley. The pole sitter has led all the way so far.
We had a race for second just a moment ago. Gordon pulled up on the inside of 87. Nemechek coming off turn 4. They're going off 2 down the backstretch now. Let's see if he can do it again.
He closes in a little bit, but still won't make a run on Nemechek for second place this time, and the yellow is out. Tracy Leslie is in trouble in turn 2. Our third caution of the evening waves over this 5/8 mile oval as Tracy Leslie spun, made some contact with the wall, slid along it looks like for a while, but the car is running, and Tracy is going to be able to stay on the lead lap. Just barely.
Just barely. How fortunate that was. Detroit Gasket car was able to stay on the lead lap.
Got it going just before Robert Presley came by, and here's the replay.
Just goes in the corner, looks like he nails the gas, and it goes around, and he goes up and just backs over. He did hit it pretty hard, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
That big black mark that he left there.
And Hut Strickland had to take evasive action in car number 7 to avoid that incident, but he did. So the track crew goes out now to check turn number 2 where the incident occurred, and we are slowed for the third time this evening.
When are these leaders going to pit, Bob?
That's a good question. What do you think?
Are they going to pit now and try to go to the end with those fresh tires, or are they going to wait till the end? What do you think?
I think that they will probably wait as long as they can and make sure they've got some fresh rubber for the end of the race. Now watch them all come in.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they should. I think they probably will wait because there's going to be less cars on the racetrack 50 laps from now. There's going to be some attrition, and 2 or 3 cars might make a great deal of difference in trying to get from the back to the front.
Well, look at this. Nemechek is coming in.
He got tricked. Nemechek got tricked by Presley.
You think so?
He did, yes.
Robert had the car pointed toward the pit area and then all of a sudden veered back onto the racetrack, but Nemechek was already committed. He comes in for the stop. So does several others, including Ernie Irvin. Kenny Wallace is in. So is Ward Burton, Jeff Burton, Tommy Houston, Bobby Daughter.
The car fell down off the jack on Nemechek's car. They had it up one time, and the jack went down. Now they changed the right sides, and away he goes.
Pretty good pit stop for Nemechek. He's back out there, so is Houston. Kenny Wallace remains on pit road as the crew finishes up the service on his car. Here he comes in the Dirt Devil machine. That yellow car, 08, is Bobby Daughter. 2 other cars remain on pit road, the 27 of Ward Burton and Tracy Leslie. Here comes Hut Strickland and Ernie Irvin out from the back pits. Now, they're not on the back stretch, but whether there are 2 tiers of pits here, one right behind the other. And let's go down to Dave Despain, who's in Leslie's pit.
Tracy Leslie was the trigger for all of this yellow flag activity, and Tracy has just come in for a pit stop, and here is the ultimate culprit. This is the left rear tire off Tracy Leslie's car, and it went flat in the incident, and that's what triggered this rash of yellow flag pit stops. Here's the situation about the tires, guys. People are telling me that 70 laps for some of them was as far as they could go on these radial tires, that they would go off so badly that you'd be better off to pit and put on fresh rubber. Other guys say, no, it's not that bad. We can go maybe 100 laps. But the point is, they cannot go as far on the tires as they can go on the fuel. Presley, I think, is now the big question mark. He stayed out. Everybody else has got fresh rubber. It'll be very interesting to see if that gamble paid off.
Especially if we have a long green period here, Benny. We're going to see those cars with the fresh rubber come up and challenge the guys with the old rubber.
And then these guys are going to have to pit on the green flag and lose 2 or 3 laps. So, you know, I said that Presley tricked Nemechek. Now that Despain has told us how the tires are wearing, it looked like he wanted to pit but just couldn't make up his mind, and Nemechek made his up to go in the pits.
So Presley continues to lead, and Jeff Gordon is second under this third caution period. You know, there are lots of things that go on in conjunction with this event here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. It is a big event for the city of Indianapolis. Of course, we have the 500-mile race in the U.S. Nationals here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, but a lot of other things go on besides this race, and one of them was the pit stop competition that was held here just last night.
Jeff Gordon was the hometown favorite here, but his team was penalized and he was out of contention. A crewman for Kenny Wallace's team got so focused on the competition that he didn't see our cameraman Jamie Burns focusing on the action. Look out, Jamie. These teams perform these pit stops every weekend, every race, but when the spotlight is on you, things can go wrong. Just ask the right front tire changer for Bobby Hamilton's crew. The crowd want to see Ernie Irvan, and Ernie Irvan doesn't disappoint. He wheels on to pit road, and the crew changed the right side rubber, simulated a fuel fill-up, and got him out of there in 15.5 seconds, 15.462 for you fans of minutia. Now, it's one thing to do your job quickly. It's another to do it right. The NASCAR officials check. Sure enough, the lug nuts are all there and tight. And so, crew chief Jay Smith and Ernie Irvan accept the trophies from Raceway Park and the K&K Insurance representatives.
We come back just as the green flag falls. Good timing. Presley leads on lap number 71, but now Jeff Gordon is in second place with Nemechek having gone to the pits for some fresh rubber. Gordon will challenge Presley now, and here comes Jimmy Spencer also. That fourth car there is the Todd Bodine machine number 34.
Looks like Jeff Gordon is really smelling the roses now. He's right on the back of Presley. This is the closest we've seen anyone come to Presley tonight.
It sure is. Gordon is hanging right with him. You know, as Dave was talking about how they were thinking that the tires were going to go away after about 70 laps, there were several drivers that told me last night that they start going away after just a couple of laps. So you got to hang on.
Yeah, the speed goes away quickly in these things.
Now Presley continues to inch away a little bit. Here is Morgan Shepherd, and he's moving up again, Benny. He's passing the Ricky Craven car, number 99, and Nemechek is right behind him, moving up through traffic.
Nemechek has those fresh tires. Let's see if he can stick on the bottom of the racetrack. He tries.
It's not very easy, though.
Sure isn't. Maybe he can get a run on Morgan after to come off too, but he can't. Morgan's looks like he's got his car running pretty well, because I don't think he went in the pits this time. He did maybe a caution flag before, but not this last caution. There we see Ernie Irvan. He made his pit stop. He's trying to go by Tommy Houston in the blue and white 6.
This action is just behind Nemechek. There is Tom Peck in 19 and Ricky Craven in 99, and Ernie Irvan is coming through. Stand away.
He's still running that very low groove coming off turn 4 and pulls up almost alongside Tom Peck.
He seems to be one of the few that can make that low groove work for him. He stays even with Peck through the corner.
Turn 3. Now, if we were doing a midget race, we'd be calling the slide job here, wouldn't we?
That's exactly right. But he made the pass. Now here's Tommy Houston pulling alongside of Tom Peck. And he's going to pass. Tommy Houston won this event in 1983. Has competed in every single event since it has been known as the Busch Grand National Series.
It looks like he's running pretty well.
Yeah, it does. Currently in 9th position after starting back in 17th. And Dave has been nosing around in the Houston pit to find some information for us. Dave?
Actually, Bob, I wanted to make an observation about what you guys would be doing if you were calling a midget race. Believe me, if this were a midget race, there'd be 6 cars out there, number 6, and 3 of them would be black. So you guys are real lucky that you're here on Stock Car Night. You only got Tommy Houston to deal with.
I knew you'd mention that before the evening is over. Yeah, everybody has a different number in this kind of racing.
There's the blue and white 6. There's Nemechek trying to get by Morgan Shepherd still.
Todd Bodine just ahead. Nemechek has moved up to 6th position already. So those new tires are working for him.
But right behind him is Ernie Irvan, who is gaining on these fellas. And Irvin went in the pits as well, so he has some fresh tires. And look at him go.
He head for the low groove that he has been working. Hey, that was easy.
And he made that pass look awfully easy.
Morgan Shepherd is now just ahead of Ernie, along with Todd Bodine.
This is a race for fourth.
Boy, Morgan, whatever was wrong with Morgan's car, they got it fixed.
I think he changed tires, which helped his car considerably, and also adjusted the chassis. Now Ernie going by on the outside.
He can go high, he can go long, he can go anyway. He's looking to the inside now of Todd Bodine and trying to pick up fourth position, which he will do entering turn 3. Irvin is on the move. It's Presley, Gordon, Spencer, and now Ernie Irvin. And the fans here on the main straightaway are standing and they're cheering and they're saying, "Go, Ernie."
They're loving this, every minute of it.
Nemechek goes inside of Todd Bodine.
Nemechek has those fresh tires. Todd Bodine not made a pit stop yet. And there goes Ernie on the inside for third spot.
Yep.
He has it.
Irvin began in 14th position on the restart on lap 71. It's now lap 84, and he has moved to third.
Ernie takes the car in high now, but he still brings the car off turn 4 lower than anyone else.
So it's still Robert Presley leading, and Jeff Gordon running in second position, but some great action behind there at Indianapolis Raceway Park and the Grand National Kroger 200.
Coming up tonight on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, American League West contenders Mark McGwire and the Oakland A's wrapping up a weekend series at Royal Stadium against Kansas City. John Miller and Dave Campbell call the action at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's America's Game of the Week, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Well, that's at 8 o'clock tonight. We welcome you back to Indianapolis Raceway Park, and look what is happening. Robert Presley is continuing to lead, but it is Ernie Irvin who has moved to second, and now Nemechek passes Jeff Gordon for third. Hey, those new tires definitely make the difference.
Those new tires are making a big difference, and here's Ernie trying to make a move on Presley.
He heads for the bottom of the racetrack.
He's going to come off turn 4 on the inside. Let's see if it will work.
Low coming off turn 4. He has Presley at the line. Let's see how they shake out going into turn 1. They're side by side. Irvin trying to wrestle the lead away from Robert Presley. He does.
He does it. That's pretty impressive, hasn't it been?
Man, it has been a tremendous move toward the front. He restarted 14th, and Ernie Irvin is now the leader after just 19 laps.
Here comes Nemechek right behind. He's going to be challenging for second place in just a lap or so. But Ernie's car running on the bottom of the racetrack better than any other car I've seen.
Here's 5th, 6th, and 7th. That is Spencer, Morgan Shepherd, and Tommy Houston in number 6. We mentioned that Houston has competed in every race that the Grand National Series has run, so obviously he has competed in every race here at IRP, and as a matter of fact, he's the only driver to compete in all of them. Working the low side of Morgan Shepherd. Ernie Irvin, the leader of the race, and we go down to Dave Despain on pit road once again.
As you can appreciate, it's very noisy down here. Sometimes sign language is the key to communication. A Busch official has just come here to the Irvin pits. There was a lot of finger shaking. I went to the official and said, "What's going on with Ernie Irvin?" And the signal was, they've warned Ernie Irvin that he's making too much contact out there in that charge toward the front. Ray Smith is now the crew chief on the car. What did you tell Ernie after the warning?
I told him that he was in the lead now and he could take it a little bit easier.
That's a very diplomatic answer. Did you see him hit anybody?
No, I didn't see him hit anybody, but after we've been running so good, I guess they don't want us to get too aggressive. So we'll just kind of go as it is, see if we can win another one.
So they've calmed Ernie Irvin down. His car is in the lead. Let's go back topside.
Well, that's a call that the NASCAR officials have made. I didn't see anything particularly aggressive about Ernie's style, but obviously they did.
No, I didn't. I didn't either, but they saw something I didn't.
But he has made an impressive move to the front. Ernie Irvan leads this Kroger 200, and we go back to this battle now. 5th and 6th position. Tommy Houston has successfully passed the 21 car of Shepard and Jimmy Spencer, and it's pretty obvious that Spencer's tires are pretty wore out.
Yep, he needs to go in the pits. And I'm sure that Robert Presley right now, and watching these cars drive by and go away, as a matter of fact, Nemechek has taken over that second spot from Presley. I'm sure he's saying, why didn't I go in the pits and get me some tires just like the rest of those boys?
And now, as we approach the halfway point, they got to really be thinking, are we going to go the rest of the way without a caution? If so, I made a bad decision.
Bad decision.
Butch Miller goes inside of Jimmy Spencer.
Tries to make that pass, can't make it.
Nope, can't quite do it. Try it again, coming off the corner, down the front straightaway, going low once again, as Irvan did a while ago. Pulling alongside of Jimmy. And now he makes the pass.
And goes away. Butch Miller has the Hoosier racing tire on his car. 2 or 3 guys tonight racing the Hoosier. Tracy Leslie was one.
There is the leader working traffic now, putting a lap on Jeff Burton in car number 8 and approaching Ricky Craven in car number 99. The driver who was so successful in Busch Grand National North competition. Hut Strickland leads this group of 5 cars down the straightaway.
That's Ed Correa in 49. That's Tracy Leslie in 72. Tom Peck in 19. And Ward Burton in the 27 car. And Bob, we've gotten halfway.
Already?
Man, that was a quick 100 lap, wasn't it?
Carl Simmons is showing the cross flags, so that means that we have reached the halfway point. 100 of the 200 laps completed. It has been Robert Presley in the early going, and now Ernie Irvan so far.
Maybe it's because we're accustomed to doing, Tracy Leslie once more almost, but maybe it's because we're accustomed to doing 500 laps.
That's right.
And the halfway point is 250 laps.
Yeah. Hut Strickland, car number 7.
Harry Gant was doing the IROC race yesterday,
which was won by Jeff Brabham, by the way.
That's correct.
Ward Burton in number 27 and Tracy Leslie in 72. Leslie was the reason for the most recent caution flag when he spun out turn number 2 and tagged the wall, but he's back in competition.
And just to bring it up to date, Ernie Irvan has put about a third of a lap on Robert Presley in just these few laps since he passed him, Bob.
Tracy Leslie's best finish in 1992 so far has been a 4th at Myrtle Beach in the Budweiser 250. There's Irvan. Boy, he is just pulling away from everybody. Has almost a full straightaway lead on Joe Nemechek, who is running second here in the Kroger 200. 104 laps completed. We'll be back with more coverage right after this. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and we're watching the battle for 5th position. Jeff Gordon and Tommy Houston go at it, and here comes Morgan Shepherd to make it a 3-car battle. Jeff Gordon on some worn tires trying to hang on to that 5th spot, and so far he's doing so.
But I don't think he can last too long because these fellows on the pressure tires will look at Tommy Houston pull alongside.
And now he'll make the pass, or he'll try to make the pass down the main straightaway into turn number 1, but Jeff tenaciously hangs on to that 5th spot. Now Houston gets a good bite there in the middle of the corner and again pulls alongside as Morgan Shepherd watches things from behind.
He's trying to, come on now, go on, Tommy, get on by. Houston almost can get by, but
no. Jeff's doing a good job hanging on. There, he got it.
Yeah, he got Jeff just a little bit too high down between 1 and 2, and he was able to move up the racetrack and get a better bite the way he went.
With the report on pit road, here's Dave again.
Defending race champion Bobby Labonte, you recall, involved in an early crash, got hit squarely in the left rear wheel. They sent the car back. back out, and now the axle has broken, and it would seem reasonable to speculate that was related to that impact. They've taken the car behind the wall. The defending champion is in for extensive repair.
We will have a new winner here tonight, as we suspected. Butch Miller has come on now to challenge Jeff Gordon. Now, all these positions that are being changed, yeah, they mean a lot in terms of track position, but as long as these guys can stay on the lead lap, we're going to be okay. But Ernie Irvan is moving through traffic very, very quickly.
Very quickly. There he goes. He is just flying.
He is. That Kodak car is leaving everyone in its dust. He's now coming up on Red Farmer in the 28 car. Now, Red has been off the pace since the drop of the green flag.
Did I see sparks fly on the back of that 4-car?
Did you?
I don't know. I thought I saw some sparks as he went down the back straightaway.
Now coming up to put a lap on Todd Bodine in number 34. And look how easy it is for Ernie.
He made that look easy, didn't he?
Man, he did.
There he goes. I didn't see sparks that time. He's still running that groove off 4 lower than anyone else.
He's on a track all by himself. Last night, Ernie's team, as we told you and showed you, won the pit stop contest. Yesterday was not a good day for Ernie personally. His brand new motorhome coach was involved in an accident. Benny asked him about it.
Well, all I know is it made it 100 miles from the factory where it was built, and some guy in a Camaro run into the side of it.
You've got to be kidding.
Oh, I'm not kidding. So it hasn't been a good day today. And then I took my new race car and crashed it too.
What'd you hit?
The wall. Just a little bit, though. Just seeing how fast I could go.
Well, that was yesterday, and obviously it didn't hurt the car any.
No, he just scrubbed the right rear quarter a little bit, and he found out how fast he could go, and I tell you, he's applying it tonight.
He's about to put a lap on Jimmy Spencer. Boy, do a lot of guys out there want a caution flag. Spencer just drops to the low side of the racetrack and lets him go. Not much you can do.
There isn't anything you can do.
Second place car is Joe Nemechek.
He's about a straightaway behind Ernie Irvan. There's Troy Beebe that Irvan is trying to get under and pass, and he does it as he's just been doing everything in the last 25 laps with ease.
Next car he'll lap will be Bobby Dotter.
Here comes Joe Nemechek.
Yep, that's the interval between first and second.
That's the Texas Pete Chevrolet.
So you can see that it's a rather comfortable lead for Ernie Irvan at the moment. But we are just past the halfway point. In fact, 117 of the 200 laps completed here at IRP, the great racing complex on the west side of Indianapolis that also, of course, contains the drag strip on which the U.S. Nationals will be run. Here's our race summary. Close call down there in one. Ernie has led 23 of the 101st 113 laps. 3 cautions, 23 laps. We have 16 machines now on the lead lap and make that 15 as one goes down. Presley and Irvan have only been the 2 leaders here tonight. And we take a look at those that have dropped out of competition. Lassiter, Robinson, Waltrip, Hamilton, and Bound all dropping out because of accidents. But everybody is okay as the race continues and Ernie Irvan leading. Here's Kenny Wallace now coming up on Jeff Gordon. This would be for 8th position.
And look who's right behind these guys.
Yep.
Swerving.
Oh, Irvan hit the wall in turn 1.
Something happened to his car.
He just drove it into the turn 1 wall, sending up a shower of sparks. Well, he appears to be...
his car's slow because here comes Donner back.
He can't control it.
He's got a flat tire or something.
Just when everything was going Ernie Irvan's way, he rubs the wall in turn number 1.
We can see the damage to the right rear when he went up and hit the wall.
Boy, lucky break for Jeff Gordon and Kenny Wallace, who were about to go a lap down, and I'm not so sure about what they're not going to anyway, because although he has slowed, it isn't very much.
these guys.
Sure did, and sparks went everywhere, and I thought, oh boy, his race is over, but not so at all. Well, here's what happened, Benny. Maybe you can discern something.
Well, he gets in the corner, and he gets in too hard, it looks like, and gets the car sideways, has to go up the hill, and look at this. Gets in the wall and just puts the throttle to the metal, and away he goes.
He talked just a few minutes about how he did the same thing yesterday, but look, it isn't slowing him up very much because he has just put a lap on Jeff Gordon. Wow. I can't believe this.
I can't either.
You go up and hit the wall, and you hit it pretty hard, and you damage the right side of the car, and I'll be darned, you still are on the gas, and you're still lapping those that you would think had a chance of winning. We'll be right back. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. Here's Dave Despain.
Thank you, Bob. When Mac McClellan barrel rolled up the front straightaway here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, his 10-year-old arm restraints broke, and that contributed significantly to the injuries that he sustained. And so arm restraints are very much a topic of conversation, and Bobby Labonte is one of the few stock car racers using the restraints. First of all, tell me why. Did what you saw on television and what happened to Davey Allison contribute to your decision?
Well, actually, I started using them back in February at Daytona. I use them more on a speedway than a short track, but, you know, I've seen Darrell flip over at Daytona last year, and it just seems like a pretty good idea when your arms do get out of the window or out of the cage if the roof comes apart, and it's just a good idea to have them. So I started wearing them back in February.
Give us just a quick run-through of how it works and what it does and why it makes you feel safer.
Well, I'm not a sprint car expert, and they probably know more, but you put the restraint on your arm like this, and then you will attach it to your seat belt down here, and you put the other one on, and you attach it to your seat belt, latch it, and that gives you control. You can drive the car, but yet at the same time, if you do get upside down, your arms can only go so far.
Suffice it to say that arm restraints are what the smart race driver is wearing in 1992.
Couple of races next Sunday here on ESPN. First of all, at 1 Eastern time, the Budweiser at the Glen Winston Cup race from Watkins Glen, New York. And then at 3:30 in the afternoon, we have some IndyCar racing for you. The Budweiser Cleveland Grand Prix from the runways of Burke Lakefront Airport. We have a caution on the racetrack because of debris on the track, and that is something that is much needed for many of the drivers. Here's Dave Despain in Ernie Irvin's pit.
The leader is on pit road for right side tires only. You may note, I don't know if you can see it from this perspective, that Ernie Irvin is actually pitted on the back row of pits, but he's all the way down toward the turn one end. The only thing that could go wrong for Irving seemingly in pits, but no problem. Could you see the damage on the right rear of that car? That's where he hit the wall. Robert Presley got so far behind, he elected to go for a 4-tire pit stop. Nemechek has come on pit road to get change of rubber, also a 4-tire stop. So now the tire advantage may be reversed. Irvin got only rights. The guys that will try to chase him down got all 4.
And Dave, you might check and see why Jeff Gordon hasn't pitted yet.
Jeff Gordon remains on the racetrack for some reason. There is Robert Presley, who was just about to go a lap down to Ernie Irvin when the yellow came out for debris here on the main straightaway. So it was a big break for Presley. But here is Jeff Gordon, and
I know why he couldn't pit, because he's a lap down. That's right, he's a lap down.
Only those that were on the lead lap could come in that previous lap, and now everybody else can come in. The speed limit on pit road is 35 miles an hour, as we see some debris also in other parts of the racetrack, not just here on the main stretch. Jeff Gordon comes in. They go to work on the right side of that Baby Ruth Ford.
Changing the right sides. The jack man, Bill Davis, helping the right front man. Now they're going to change 4 tires. Bill hustles around to the right side. And the car is going up. There's a lot of time to do this. 24 seconds, 25. You see a lot of cars leaving. That's the Hungry Jack car right behind Jeff Gordon. He gets the pit stop completed in 32 seconds. You say, well, these guys are slow. Well, certainly they're slower than Winston Cup guys, but pretty good pit stop. 4 tires and a tank of fuel.
Back down to Dave Despain.
Jeff Gordon has come in for a 4-tire pit stop. He is still a lap down and will have a tremendous amount of catching up to do. It was very obvious here last night that Jeff Gordon, whose shop is just across the road in Pittsboro, Indiana, has a huge local following. Let's meet the kid and talk about his season.
For several years, Jeff Gordon was the class of the competition here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, winning regularly and making quite a name for himself. By the end of 1990, Jeff figured he'd gone about as far as he could go in open-wheel racing, and he began a new career in stock cars. In 1991, driving the Bill Davis-owned Ford Thunderbird, Jeff was named Rookie of the Year. This year, he won his first race at Atlanta, has accumulated 7 poles, 1 other victory, and has led more than twice as many laps as anyone else. Despite the success, it's been perhaps his toughest year in racing. Incidents at 2 recent races dropped Jeff out of the top 5 in points. And it's provided him with some valuable lessons about running for a championship.
Even though I've been in the Busch cars for over a year now, I'm so used to wanting to just drive right to the front and win that race. And there's still a point where you got to say, hey, you know, definitely want to finish this race. Try to make it a top 5 if you got a chance for the win to win.
Jeff admits that with every lap he runs, there comes a new learning experience. He learned that controversy can be a bigger story than winning. That's what happened earlier this year when Jeff announced that he'd be running in Winston Cup next year for Rick Hendrick in a Chevy, not a Ford.
A lot of people jumped the gun and said Jeff Gordon's been brought up by Ford Motor Company over several years, and I think, first of all, they have done a lot for me in the last year and a half, but that's as long as I've been involved with Ford, and there weren't any contracts, or, you know, we had talked, and yes, I wanted to stay in a Ford, and we were going to try to continue working with Ford, but there were no definite decisions on what Jeff Gordon was going to be doing in 1993.
But in Jeff's mind, 1993 was the year he wanted to go Winston Cup racing. He says he didn't sign with Hendrick because of the money, but because they both share a burning desire to win. To them, the team is the most important thing. Hendrick is building a new shop for Jeff, who will have as his teammate another former open-wheel star, Ken Schrader.
There was so much that went into making this decision, and you know, I don't think that I just one week Rick Hendrick says, here, you know, I want you to drive my car, you know, and he did not offer me millions of dollars, not upfront, not long term. You know, money was never even spoken until after I had already made the decision that, you know, I want to go with this team, with these people, with these motors, with these cars, because I feel that that's going to be the best package for Jeff Gordon for 1993 and so on.
And what a bright future this young man has in the world of stock car racing, Bob.
Jeff Gordon proved himself in the open-wheel cars, moves to Grand National, and now in 1993 will have the Winston Cup ride with Rick Hendrick. We're about to go back to green on lap number 139, I believe. Hard to read the scoreboard. I believe that's it. Here they come down the straightaway. Ernie Irvan is still the leader. Joe Nemechek is in second. As those on the lead lap are on the inside and the lap cars are on the outside, and you're sure as the world going to see some guys trying to get their lap back.
I tell you what, we are going to see some awfully exciting racing right now, because here's a guy with 4 tires. There's a Presley guy back there with 4 tires. Spencer has probably been in pits and has 4. There's Presley with 4 tires.
If they can get their lap back and we have another caution, they'll be in good shape. We'll have to wait and see how things go, because Ernie Irvan is taking no prisoners here at Indianapolis Raceway Park tonight.
There we see Nemechek trying to get alongside of Ernie Irvan.
Good battle up front as Nemechek challenges Ernie Irvan now. He made a run on him that lap, and he's going to do it again here coming off corner number 2. That car of Ernie Irvan's is not as fast as it was.
No, he has done some damage when he hit the ball. Not much, but he has done some damage.
Nemechek looking inside.
Here they go.
Ooh, they almost touch coming off corner number 4. Nemechek is going to get the lead. Joe Nemechek takes the lead and becomes our 3rd leader of the evening. And now we have to ask ourselves, can Nemechek hold on and gain his first win in history in this series? He's the points leader but hasn't won a race.
Here's Robert Presley, a pole sitter, trying to get on the inside of Tommy Houston. And meanwhile, Houston is trying to get by Ernie.
Houston looks inside of Ernie. This is for 2nd position. Tommy picks up the position, and here comes Robert Presley and Spencer.
I think that Dave Despain is correct. Ernie probably should have changed 4 tires instead of just 2.
And Robert Presley is in 3rd position and looking very good. And man, if he can come out with a victory here, he will thank a well-timed yellow flag that saved him from going a lap down and allowed him to go onto pit road and get some tires. But look at Jimmy Spencer. He's going to mix it up a little bit with Presley.
He sure is. Spencer trying to get alongside Presley. Now Presley, all of a sudden, he was the guy trying to pass. He's being passed.
Spencer goes inside of Presley. They may have touched there in the 3rd corner as both of them have to hit the brakes. Now Spencer draws alongside of Presley on the main straightaway. This is the battle for 3rd spot. As Nemechek begins to pull away and Houston runs in 2nd spot, here is Spencer and Presley going at it tooth and nail, and Jimmy gets 3rd.
And pulls up in the back, right in front of Robert Presley. Now Tommy Houston just a few car lengths in front of Spencer.
Spencer is not on the lead lap. He's a lap down.
Oh, he is.
In 7th position.
No wonder he's driving like a man possessed.
The NASCAR scoring officials have straightened us out on that. So Jimmy is just simply trying to get up front to get his lap back. All right, so it's Houston 2nd and Presley in 3rd. But look at Spencer. Past Tommy with relative ease. Here's Robert Presley looking for 2nd position into turn 3, and Steve Grissom has a problem.
Looks like the sway bar arm has fallen off the car and is dragging the racetrack.
Here's your 1990 winner, Steve Grissom, in trouble as sparks are flying from that race car, and the NASCAR officials have black flagged him. Here is the leader of the race, Joe Nemechek, as we have completed 150 of the 200 laps at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Kroger 200.
Coming up later tonight here on ESPN, the Baseball Hall of Fame induction. Tom Seaver and Raleigh Fingers, 2 of 4 men to receive the National Pastimes Ultimate Honor. We'll have Sports Center at 7:20. It's baseball tonight. And at 8 o'clock, the Athletics versus the Royals on Sunday Night Baseball. Right now, we get back to the action of the Kroger 200 stock car race with Joe Nemechek looking for his first victory. Here's Bob and Benny.
And it is Nemechek leading the race, trying to stave off a challenge from Robert Presley, who is about a half a straightaway behind. So Nemechek is looking good at the moment. This is his 80th career start in Busch Grand National competition. He has been a 2nd on 4 different occasions. There is 2nd place Presley. So indeed, Robert is closing in.
He is closing in. And Robert had to get by Jimmy Spencer. It took him a few laps. He also got his tires a little bit harder than he wanted to, but he finally was able to make the pass, and now the only guy he's got to catch is Nemechek. And can he do it in the time remaining, 38 laps? What do you think?
I don't know. Robert's been pretty fast. There's no question about that. He was the pole sitter, and I wouldn't doubt but what he could chase down Nemechek and win, but it would be nice to see a first-time winner here tonight in Joe Nemechek.
See, Robert, it looks like the cars are just about even, so I think it's going to be a traffic. How they work traffic. If Nemechek should run across 2 cars running side by side for position, and they don't want to give up and let him go by and let Robert Presley catch him, then anything can happen.
He is the points leader in Busch Grand National competition. So, Joe, Are you and your team focusing more on the championship or getting a victory under your belt?
I would have to say victory is what we're focusing on. The points race, I don't want to get caught up in thinking, well, I'm going to head by 10 or 20 or 30. We go to each race. We go there to win. The Texas Pete Chevrolet is running so good, and we're getting our setups better. We're getting better engines. And the better we get the car, the more it makes the driver step on that gas pedal. And we keep getting closer and closer in the front, and hopefully soon we're going to win that first race.
It could be tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. He's first in points, but 15th in the laps led department. But he's adding a few to his list tonight.
He certainly is. He's moved up a couple of spots tonight, for sure. There's Red Farmer in the Havoline Ford, replacing Davey Allison.
Boy, it hasn't been a very good night for Old Red, who's substituting for Davey Allison.
There's Mom.
Yep.
Martha Nemechek.
She's saying, come on, Joe, hang on. And Joe comes in to put a lap on Hud Strickland.
And does it with ease.
Puts another lap on Hud Strickland, I should say. Hud is running in 15th position, now 2 laps down.
Morgan Shepherd in 21, Todd Bodine in 34, and the 75 car. Butch Miller, the Food Country car. And Hungry Jack, the sponsor on Todd Bodine's car.
Now, Bodine is not on the lead lap as Shepherd and Butch Miller. This is the battle for 5th position between Morgan and Butch.
And they're wishing that Todd to get out of the way, right? Butch falls back in behind once again. Well, spoke too soon.
Yep. Butch using that low line down in turns 1 and 2. 170 laps completed, only 30 to go in this one.
Yeah. Nothing is changing. Butch is still trying to get by, and almost got together as they came off that second corner.
Paint trading there between Bodine and Butch Miller. Morgan Shepherd hasn't competed in too many Grand National races this year. This is only his 6th start. Finished 3rd at Charlotte. Miller closing in on him.
And Bobby Donner, he's looking over all this.
Donner is also a lap down. He's in 11th place at the moment.
So I guess he and Todd Bodine are racing for 10th.
That's correct. Now Butch pulling alongside of Morgan. Trying to take that 5th place away from Morgan, and he does. Butch Miller goes to 5th.
And here comes Bobby Donner on the inside of Todd Bodine, trying to take that spot away. Bobby Donner said he had about 50 fans coming down to Chicago. This is the closest track to his hometown, Chicago. He wanted a good run tonight. Also had a local sponsor on his car. Some drug food stores. I forget the name of them now. I'm not doing him any good, am I?
Bodine and Morgan Shepherd now side. Morgan may have lost the handle on that car.
Looks like he has lost the handle. He lets these guys go on, and they're racing hard for position.
Here's Nemechek continuing to lead. That's Jeff Burton in car number 8, just behind him.
Tell you what, it'd be interesting to see how close that Robert Presley is to Nemechek and see if he's gaining on him.
Yeah, about 1.5 seconds, Benny.
1.5 seconds. Well, I tell you what, these people, when you ask for something, they give it to you, don't they?
Johnny on the spot. So it's only a 1.5 second lead for Joe Nemechek. Robert Presley is running in 2nd spot, and we're less than 25 laps away from the finish of the Busch Grand National Kroger 200 at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Bob Jenkins Benny Parsons and Dave Despain back at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Kroger 200 NASCAR Busch Grand National Race, which is being led right now by the 87 Texas Pete car driven by Joe Nemechek. Second place is Robert Presley. How far are they separated? Well, it's exactly the same as it was a few laps ago. So Presley is not closing in on Nemechek. It's a 1.4-second difference. Is Joe on the way to his first win? I'll bet his mom hopes so. Right, Dave?
You bet she does. I watched Martha Nemechek for 10 straight laps. She got this little arm pump down every time Joe went by. But now you know you're getting close to victory. One lap it's the arm pump, and the next lap she's taking pictures of Joe. Is he going to hold on and win this thing?
I hope so. I hope God is with us.
What's the thing you're most worried about right now?
Something happened. Never can tell. I just open my heart we can win.
That's Mom Nemechek. She's pulling for him. She's taking pictures. She's pumping her arm, and she's pulling for the finish.
Less than 17 laps to go. Can't forget what happened here a year ago when we had a caution and something went wrong with Chuck Bound that denied him victory here. Look at this. The average speed is 82.2 and the track record is 96.9. That was the race that was run without caution, and we have had 4 here this evening. That's the reason why our average speed is below the record. Here's the battle for 4th position. Ernie Irvan and Butch Miller, as Butch is doing a fine job.
He's running Ernie Irvan's groove on the inside. Gets alongside Ernie. He starts saying he made the pass, but they're side by side. This is turn 1. About where Ernie smacked the wall earlier on. Takes that spot away, so he is now 4th. Here's Butch Miller.
Yep, Miller is 4th, and Ernie Irvan drops back to 5th. Ernie led much of the middle stages of this race, and then got up against the wall in turn number 1 and banged it and damaged the right rear of the car, and the car hasn't been right since.
So right now, Ernie looks like he's just riding this thing out and trying to see the end.
There's a lot of traffic back there on the backstretch.
Troy Beebe at 24.
And Todd Bodine in 34. Butch Miller got his first career win at Indianapolis Raceway Park here in 1986. It's been an up and down year so far for Butch Miller in Busch Grand National competition. So, Butch, what's the problem? Why haven't you done better this year so far?
And our biggest problem has been mechanical failures. It seems like if we're running really, really good, the car is going to break. And it's not a matter of if it's going to break, it's when it's going to break, because it's going to break. And if it's running bad, it will never break. I mean, we could run until, you know, the cows went home or the fat lady sang or whatever. But we could run forever if that thing's running bad.
I think maybe the worm has turned, to use another cliche, for Butch tonight, because that car's running well and it's hanging together, and he's only got 12 more laps to go.
Well, that's right. He's up to 4th place now. If he's the lead lap, I don't know if he's the lead lap or not.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so he's running 4th. Is that good or bad in his mind? What do you think?
Well, I think it's pretty good.
You think it's pretty good? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then hang on for about 11 more laps, Butch.
Butch's best finish this year has been a 3rd. That was at Darlington. So he'll take a 4th position. There's Nemechek, 10 laps to go now.
And let me tell you something. Robert Presley is not gaining.
The interval between the two staying just about the same at a 1.5 seconds.
As a matter of fact, I think Nemechek might be gaining on Presley. We'll see. Maybe we get another interval, or we can just visually tell. Where is he?
There he is.
There he is.
Yep. And Dave Despain is in Robert Presley's pit.
We just checked with Ricky Pearson, the crew chief for Robert Presley. I got one of those one-word answers that you really like. The question, can you catch him? The answer, no. They are conceding to Nemechek, and I think tires are probably the key issue here tonight for Robert Presley. Remember, he got stuck out there mid-race for a long run when he had old tires and everybody else had the new stuff.
Yeah, that could be the story of the Kroger 200 in 1992.
But Preston went in and changed 4 tires, and I think at the same time that Nemechek went in. So basically, the tires ought to be even.
There is Joe Nemechek. driver from Lakeland, Florida.
Well, I tell you, you talk about a pumped-up young man. Now, there is one sitting in that race car right now.
He has only 6 more laps to go, and he will register his first ever win in Busch Grand National competition. But the race isn't over yet. Can he do it? Well, if you'll rejoin us in just a few minutes, we'll show you at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 5 more laps to go for Joe Nemechek, and he will win his first Busch Grand National race.
What was it last year? The Chuck Bound, was it 10 laps to go or something?
Yep.
The seat belts came unhooked?
Under a caution, he reached up to adjust his seat belt, and they came unhooked until he stopped in the middle of the backstretch to hook them up again instead of taking the chance of having a crash and being unprotected.
Here comes Joe off turn 4, car running just flawlessly. And 4 to go.
196 laps have been completed. And the record crowd here at Indianapolis Raceway Park has seen a great race that starred Ernie Irvan in the middle stages, Robert Presley in the early going, and has had a star of Joe Nemechek in the last few laps. Off of corner number 4, completing lap 197.
Nemechek just went by Steve Grissom in the channel lock car, and Grissom's had some tough trouble. He's had a right rear tire go flat a moment ago.
There's Butch Miller, car number 75.
Just blows by Hutch Strickland in the Mac Tools car.
Yep. Butch is 4th. None of the other cars there in the shot on the same lap as Butch.
The red car is Todd Bodine, the yellow car, Bobby Dotta, once again racing for position. And 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go for Nemechek.
Just 2 laps around the 5/8 mile oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park. He's on the backstretch, headed for turn number 3. This time around, he'll see the white flag from Carl Simmons, and there'll be 1 more circuit to go. Here he is. White flag is waving, and a spin by Jeff Gordon and Ricky Craven. They've come together in turn number 1, and this race is going to end under caution. And Joe Nemechek. Oh, my gosh.
Look at Martha. She about had a heart attack. Oh, sit down, girl.
He came so close. He had to get on the brakes, and the car almost got out from under him. He almost made contact with Ricky Craven, whose car is stopped up in turn number 1. But here he comes down the main straightaway, and the checkered flag falls for Joe Nemechek. He wins the Kroger 200 in dramatic style. We thought it was going to be a boring ending, and there ain't no way.
There's Mark. Look at him. Is she happy or what?
Mom Martha and the rest of the crew celebrating the first win of the season and the very first win ever in Grand National competition for Joe Nemechek.
Then Robert Presley drives up beside and congratulates Joe on his first victory.
Let's go to Dave Despain.
I'm about to get mobbed down here. Martha, do I get one of those kisses? How does it feel?
Oh, it's wonderful. And I thank you for the first time that you interviewed Joe.
What did you think when you saw him almost pile into that crash down there?
I didn't know what was going to happen, and I don't count until the last lap.
Well, the last lap's all yours. Go celebrate.
Thank you so much.
There's a happy and proud mom right there. Martha Nemechek celebrating. Joe Nemechek has won his first Busch Grand National race. We'll be back to talk to him right after this.
Well, the record crowd is making its way out of Indianapolis Raceway Park, and Benny, you and I sit at home or in our hotel rooms every Saturday night and watch the action on Saturday Night Thunder with the Sprints and Midgets, and by golly, the stock cars gave us a good show, too.
I'll tell you what, it was exciting. Even full-fendered cars can get around this racetrack and make it exciting.
And it's nice to see Joe Nemechek win his first victory.
It's always good to see that first victory, see that pure joy.
And what is he going to do in Victory Lane? Well, let's find out. Here's Dave.
I think we're part of the biggest party that we may have ever seen on Saturday night here. Joe Nemechek, how does it feel to finally get it under your belt?
I tell you what, the Texas Pete Chevrolet ran like a Cadillac tonight. I mean, the thing just drove so good. We had the perfect setup under this car. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better car. Dennis Boyd in Orlando, Florida, he built my engines, did one heck of a job. Just everything went good. You know, I got to thank all the fans here. I've had a great time in Indy, and I'm looking forward to coming back.
You've had a lot of time to anticipate this moment. Is it everything you dreamed it would be?
Oh, yes. Well, I got to let it sink in here a little bit. And the end of the race come around, and they come on the radio and said there's 10 laps left. And I'm like, well, there's nobody else up here. And it was just great.
In about 5 seconds, tell me about turn 1 on the last lap.
Well, I was coming down the straightaway, and someone yelled on the radio, crash in turn 1 and 2, and I got in the corner, and there they were, and I turned the car sideways, and I thought I just might hit them, but I cleared it and come home from there.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Joe Nemechek has won his first Busch Grand National race. We'll be back to wrap up the story of the Kroger 200 right after this timeout. Stay with us.